Excel Tutorial 11, pages 663 through 667. Starting on 663, to create a connection to the CH History text file. First of all, open the Chalcedony workbook and do a file save as and name it Chalcedony Fund. Once you finish that, go to the Fund History worksheet. Alright, step number 3. On the ribbon, click the Data tab. In the Get External Data group, click the From Text button. The Import Text File dialog box opens. Okay, so here's Get External Data, and they said go to From Text. Okay, and we have our Import Text Files dialog box. Click the CH History text file located on your flash drive. Okay, so this file came with this chapter. It's a text file, so it looks a little bit different, okay, and you can see it's right here, and then it's called text document. So that's the one we want right there. And then once you've selected it, you single click it and you go to import. The text import wizard, step 1 of 3 dialog box opens in the original data type section. With the fixed width option button is already selected. Okay, so just take a look at this. Text import wizard, step 1 of 3. The text wizard has determined that your data is fixed width. Okay, the original data type, and you can see it says fixed width. Start import at row 1, and we have our file origin and a bunch of information down here. Okay, now let's go to step number 5. Scroll the preview box to view the data in the text file. The column labels for the data are in row 5 and the data list begins in row 6. So here's your preview file, here's your scroll bar. Okay, you can see everything right here, and you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. You can see, alright, so here's your data labels in 5, and here's the actual information starts in row 6. Alright, turn to page 664 and read about specifying the starting row. To specify row 5 as a starting row, click the Start Import at Row up arrow. Okay, so we have Start Import at Row, and then we have the up arrow right here, the spinner box. You want to make this say 5. Okay. Step number 2. Click the My Data Has Headers checkbox to insert a check mark. Okay, My Data Has Headers. Okay, remember these are the headers right here. Step number 3, click the Next button to display the second step of the text import wizard. Okay, clicked on Next. Scroll the data page preview box down 4 rows. Okay. The data to import from the text file starts with the column labels. See figure 11-6. Okay, just kind of taking a look in here. All right, go ahead and read about editing column breaks. This is actually very important because they're right here, the column breaks, and they're not right. So you need to read about this because we have to go correct them. So on the top of page 665, to edit the column breaks in this file, drag the first break line directly after the column of dates. Make sure the column breaks do not intersect the data values in the column. So it says to drag this first line right here over. Now take a look at your little figure 11-7 when you're moving these, and make sure that you stay on the outside of these numbers. You don't want to, if you kick this over in here, it's going to cause a huge issue, so don't do that. All right, drag the second column break line to the right directly after the values in the high column. Okay, so this one needs to go right after the ones in the high column. And again, take a look down at your example in 11-7 and make sure that you're doing this correctly. All right, step number 4. Wait, I missed one. Step number 3, drag the third break line to the right directly after the values in the low column. Okay, so we have this one right after date. We have this one right after high. Now this one needs to go right after low. Okay, so you're just grabbing these little arrowheads and pulling them around and placing it wherever you want. If you make a mistake, just correct it. You can move them around as much as you need to. Step number 4, drag the fourth break line to the right directly after the values in the close column. Okay, so this one needs to go right here. Okay, and then step number 5, double click the last break line to remove it. So you just double clicked on that arrowhead and it took it out. Now take a look at yours on your screen right here in your text import wizard, step 2 of 3, and compare it to figure 11-7 and make sure that it's the same. Okay, if you made a terrible error, you can try going back, okay? And if you absolutely have to, you can always cancel this and try again. But if you made a terrible error with these lines, you should be able to go back and then next and be able to do it again, okay? All right, when you have this all set and it looks like figure 11-7, click your next button. All right, on page 666, that's 666, to specify a date format and remove the open column. Okay, let's take a look. Step number 1. If the first column is not selected, go ahead and select it. Okay, and all you have to do is click any place in this column and it'll select it. Mine is selected. Yours should look like this: reverse video, black background, white text. Step number 2. In the column data format section, click the date option button. The first column heading changes from general to date. Okay, so here's our column data format section. So we want this particular column, because it's the date, we're going to switch this to date. And you'll see this switches to MDY. Okay, and that's month, day, year. Step number 3. What we want to do is we want to come over here, right by date, and click this down pointing arrow, and we want to switch this to year, month, date. Year, month, date, right? Year, month, day, excuse me, right there. It's hard to talk and look at your book and your screen at the same time. YMD, year, month, day. Okay? Step number 4. In the data preview box, click anywhere within the open column. Okay, do you see right here where it says open? So we're just going to click in this column, and this selects the whole thing. Okay? And then click the do not import column. Okay, so we're going to click where it says do not import column, and in parentheses it says skip. So we're saying we don't want that one. And this changes to skip column. Okay, now again, take a look at figure 11-8 and make sure, this is like very, very precise. We can't make a mistake. And if we do, we would have to start over with this, and we don't want to do that. So make sure that your screen matches 11-8. Okay? When you're sure it's right and you don't need to hit back and try again, you can go ahead and click the finish button. All right. The import data dialog box opens so you can specify where to place the imported data in the worksheet. Note that if you use the open dialog box to access the text file, its contents will be placed in the worksheet starting with cell A1. Select cell A4 in the Sheet 1 worksheet and then click OK. Alrighty. So we're going to click on cell A4. And as you can see, this changes to A4. I'm just checking real quick to make sure I didn't skip any steps, because I'm always skipping a step. And then when you have that all set, click OK. And as you can see, it imports your data, and it covers A4 to D785. Take a look at figure 11-9. Okay, now the last thing we're going to do is on page 667. And remember, if this failed and it didn't work, this would be the time that you close this worksheet, the whole workbook, excuse me. Don't save your changes, reopen it, and try again. Okay? But if you got that right, let's go on to page 667 to create a high-low close chart for the fund data. All right, make sure that cell A4 is the active cell. Okay, then press the Control-Shift-N keys. All right, Control-Shift-N end. Okay, that selects the entire range A4 to D785. Scroll to the top of the worksheet without deselecting the range. Okay, all the way up. On the ribbon, click the Insert tab. In the Charts group, click the Insert Stock, Surface, or Radar Chart button, and then click the High, Low, Close, which is the first chart in the gallery. Okay, so ribbon, insert. Then we want to go to our Charts group. And in our Charts group, we want to go to Stock, Surface, or Radar Chart button, okay, which is that one right there. And then we want the High, Low, Close, which is right there. Okay, go ahead and click it. Resize the chart so that it covers the range F2 to M16. All right, so we want this one to go to, take a look here, F2 to M16. I made it too big. M16, about right there. Change the chart title to Historical Trends and then remove the legend. Okay, our chart title to Historical. This is a review. You've had a whole chapter on charts. Trends, right? And then we need to remove the legend. Okay, so we're just going to click on our legend, make sure we have the whole thing, press delete to remove the legend. All right, step number 6, add primary major vertical grid lines to the chart. Okay, first thing we're going to do. So we want to go to add a chart element, and we want a grid lines, and we want primary major, which size? Which size? Primary major vertical. Which type? There we go. Primary major vertical. Okay, we've got that. Then change the minimum value of the vertical axis from its default value of 0 to 40. Okay, chart elements. And we want, what did we say? I wish you guys were here to read this to me. Vertical axis. So I want to go to my axes. I want to go to more axis options. Just going to drop this nice pane over here. Okay, and in my axis options, and if this doesn't open like this, you just need to touch these buttons, okay, and see that there's axis options, and click on that one, it'll open for you. And now I need to change my bound to what, 40 is where it begins. So let's take a look, make sure I'm doing this right. Minimum value of the vertical axis from its default is 0 to 40. Okay, so let's change that really quick. Okay, so when I look in here, I see that my bounds, there's a date, which tells me I accidentally grabbed the wrong axis, so I'm just going to click on the vertical axis, and it said to change my bounds from 0 to 40, correct? Check the book again real quick just to make sure that's what it said. Here we go. Add the primary vertical axis title fund value, and then add the horizontal axis title date. So primary vertical axis title is fund value. So we go up to add chart elements, axis titles, and I want my primary vertical axis, and I want my title to be, what did it say? Primary vertical axis fund value. You know, I love working with these things when they're sideways like this. I can get the whole thing to come to me. There we go. All right, fund value. Remember, don't hit your enter key, deselect. Hit your enter key, you'll put in a blank line, turn your head sideways and see if you made any typos. All right, and what's the other one I'm supposed to add? Horizontal axis title of date. Add chart element, axis title, horizontal. So much easier to work when it's looking at me this way. Date. Deselect. Go ahead and close that pane that's on the right. And you need to reach up and click save, and you are ready to go on to the next video.